Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Taiwan Tech Update, your weekly roundup of tech news stories from here in Taiwan, presented by me, Tomasz Koper, and Radio Taiwan International. Happy Dragon Boat Festival, or Duanwujie, to those who celebrate. As AI slowly seeps into every corner of our personal and professional lives, I want to explore its impact on various industries in a series of interviews in the coming weeks. For this episode, I spoke to William Chen, a filmmaker involved in the production of the documentary Invisible Nation, as well as a videographer and video producer with decades of experience in the industry. Stick around for the second part of the show for that. But first, as always, we start with a roundup of Taiwan-related tech news for the week of June 13th to June 19th. Just before the weekend, we learned that the 500th offshore wind turbine went up off the coast of Taiwan. That brings the total installed capacity to 4.8 gigawatts. According to a report from the Global Wind Energy Council for 2026, Taiwan will rank third worldwide in annual new offshore wind power capacity and fifth in total installed capacity. The Economic Ministry's Energy Administration says that Taiwan has overcome numerous challenges to achieve this milestone, including external factors such as the pandemic, inflation, and a volatile international landscape. While offshore wind power projects elsewhere in the world have been impacted, Taiwan has continued to make breakthroughs and achieve remarkable installation results through public-private partnerships. 500 turbines in 10 years is an impressive result, especially in a region regularly experiencing earthquakes and typhoons. But even that may not be able to catch up with rising demand. More on that later in the show. On Monday, Nikkei Asia reported that the U.S. defense tech company AeroVironment, also known as AV, signed a memorandum of understanding with the Taiwanese company Ubicon, a manufacturer of heavy-duty remote controls and computing equipment. They will collaborate on unmanned systems and mission management capabilities to support Taiwan's defense reforms and drone initiatives. AV is perhaps best known for producing switchblade loitering munitions, which have seen great success in repelling Russian invaders in Ukraine. The company's CEO, Wahid Nawabi, said that the partnership will integrate AV's Kinesis mission management system and Unicon's hardware to create a new product for Taiwan, which will enable the Taiwanese military to use a single remote control to operate multiple drones. This is, of course, part of Taiwan's ongoing development of asymmetric defense capabilities. Also on Monday, Foxconn, also known as Honhai, announced a strategic partnership with the French energy technology company Schneider Electric to develop next-generation data centers. Schneider will be providing power, cooling, and energy management solutions, which will be paired with Foxconn's computing platforms. The goal is to create blueprints for data centers which can be reproduced anywhere in the world. Those paying attention will notice that Foxconn has been pushing hard to establish and deepen its international cooperation projects, including numerous in Europe. And staying with Monday, media reports said that the leaked internal documents from the Chinese company Golaxy, which is a state-aligned firm that uses AI to drive large-scale influence operations, split Taiwanese people into 4 groups for precise targeting with cognitive manipulation. The company reportedly harvests user data and deploys propaganda at scale using AI to generate highly personalized and difficult-to-verify information. All that can then be unintentionally cited by expert scholars or online influencers who transform it into seemingly valuable arguments. The leaked documents divided Taiwanese people into 4 groups: diehards, friendlies, swingers, and objectives. The system then tailored narratives to each category and their opposing viewpoints, guiding beliefs and dividing opinions. With local elections coming up in Taiwan at the end of the year, experts say the tactics will become more refined in their targeting. And we're not done with Monday yet, as we saw media reports saying that Meta had suspended a number of Threads accounts belonging to public figures and media organizations. Taiwan's digital ministry asked the company to assist affected users in restoring their accounts. Those included local councillors, mayors, legislators, influencers, organizations, and at least one media channel. The reason for the debacle? Apparently, it's the company's policy to only allow users over 13 years old to use the platform. Meta said an unspecified technical error in age verification caused the accounts to be suspended. Hey guys, maybe don't vibe code these things and debug before rollout next time, yeah? This year's Tang Prize recipients have been announced over the course of this week. The awards, which are sometimes called Taiwan's Nobles, are given out once every 2 years for outstanding achievements in the fields of sustainable development, biopharmaceutical science, sinology, and rule of law. On Monday, the American atmospheric chemist Susan Salomon was awarded the Tang Prize in Sustainable Development for her contributions to the field, which led to changes in environmental policies across the world. Her research in the 1980s showed the impact of chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, on the ozone layer over the South Pole. As a result, the international community signed the Montreal Protocol that slowly removed the harmful chemicals from our refrigerators and air conditioning units. Later in her career, she conducted research that showed CO2 emissions can stick around for up to a millennium after they're released. This greatly improved our understanding of the long-term effects of carbon emissions and led to more policy changes. Then on Tuesday, the Tang Prize in Biopharmaceutical Science went to 3 scientists in the field of cellular immunotherapy: Stephen A. Rosenberg, Michael Seidlein, and Carl H. June. They were recognized for their pioneering contributions to the treatment of blood cancers and solid tumors. Cellular immunotherapy stimulates a patient's own immune system to recognize and destroy cancer cells. According to the Tang Prize organizers, it has proven to be one of the most transformative advances in cancer treatment in recent years. They also said that this year's laureates helped turn the human immune system into a powerful anti-cancer medicine, creating breakthrough treatments for malignant blood diseases such as leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma. Coincidentally, another news of medical achievements in fighting cancer also came on Tuesday. A Taiwanese research team discovered a new strategy to revive immune cells in patients, which will help those who have become resistant to current immunotherapy treatments. The team from National Taiwan University Hospital published their study in the journal Nature Immunology in May. At a press event on Tuesday, they said that immunotherapy has revolutionized cancer treatment by activating immune T cells. However, many patients still fail to respond to these treatments or build up resistance over time, and this is exactly the problem the team wanted to solve. They found that a class of epigenetic drugs called BET inhibitors can bring those cells back to activity and help them resist cancer more effectively. Now, this is the kind of scientific breakthrough I love to see. Also on Tuesday, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said the country expects to conclude negotiations on an electric vehicle partnership with Foxconn by this fall. The project with Electromobility Poland aims to establish a large-scale electric vehicle R&D and manufacturing hub in Jaworzno in southern Poland. Current plans include producing 3 models of mid-size SUVs. Tusk also revealed additional information on semiconductor cooperation plans between Poland and Taiwan. The government hopes to establish a semiconductor plant with Foxconn in Miękkinia in Lower Silesia. The site was originally designated for an Intel packaging and testing facility before the company pulled out of the project in July 2025. Tusk said negotiations between the two sides are currently being finalized. On Thursday, the government approved a draft special act which will allocate around $6.6 billion to procurement of domestically produced unmanned systems. Plans include over 1,400 coastal surveillance drones, more than 200,000 coastal attack drones across 4 types, and over 1,300 small suicide unmanned boats. Defense Ministry said that larger drone platforms would be handled separately. Also on Thursday, Taiwan's National Academy of Science, Academia Sinica, welcomed its new president, epidemiologist and former Vice President Chen Jianren. In his remarks at the handover ceremony, he said he will lead the institution in 5 key directions. First, he will continue to pursue academic excellence while ensuring research is not constrained by short-term performance metrics. Second, Chen hopes to establish Academia Sinica as a leading research institution in the Asia-Pacific region, making Taiwan into an advocate and pioneer within the global academic network. Third, the institution will address national and global challenges, including low birth rates, aging populations, climate change, and energy transition. Fourth, it will promote knowledge transfer and public communication. And fifth, Academia Sinica will establish a responsible framework for artificial intelligence and data governance, making Taiwan a model for AI research and governance. And staying with the events of Thursday, Taiwan's Economic Ministry presented its 2025 National Electricity Supply and Demand Report, which adjusted up the average electricity demand growth rate projections between 2026 and 2035 to 2.5%. That's an increase of 0.8 percentage points over previous estimates. The ministry said the adjustment was caused by the expanding energy demand from AI data centers and the semiconductor industry, as well as rising average temperatures, which are highly correlated with electricity demand for air conditioning. To meet future demand, the government plans to add 26 gigawatts of natural gas-fired power generation capacity between 2026 and 2035, with 5.2 gigawatts expected to come online this year. But it also plans to expand renewable energy generation. It estimates that photovoltaic capacity will reach 31 gigawatts and offshore wind capacity 10 gigawatts by 2030, while by 2035 those renewable sources will generate 35 and 18 gigawatts respectively. With AI spilling out of every single screen we look at these days, it's no wonder many professionals are seeing the technology profoundly affect their fields. That's why this week I spoke to filmmaker, videographer, and video producer William Chen, who was involved in the production of the documentary Invisible Nation. I wanted to know what kind of impact of AI he has been seeing in his field, and this is how our conversation went. William, can you tell me what the good, the bad, and the ugly of AI in the visual media industry is? Maybe let's start with the good.
I think the interesting part I'm witnessing now is that there are new kind of tools showing up in image related industry, say in video filmmaking or even just graphic. Over the last couple of years, the image generations from many AI models have become quite good, and to some level can be actually used for real world usage rather than just casual use for entertaining, sending pictures between friends. Then with the newer developments, I gradually see even more and more the seems AI tools being integrated potentially into the pipeline to be used for actual, say, VFX in productions. Yeah, like visual effects and other things. That's a good part because that could relieve say, the workload from the post-production companies or employees or allow creators to generate things faster. But I would like to add a point to that one is that use programmable tools or something similar to AI or certain kind of automated tools for, say, visual effects is not new. Even say a decade ago or so that we have seen that kind of behind the scene video for Hollywood films. Say a movie like Star Wars, they have or something like Gladiator, they have background scenes with the main character in the center, but huge crowd in the back. Even back, say, 10 years ago, or maybe even longer, they already have some kind of programs to help them not to actually build models or replicate the models, but spread them out in a way that they looks like an actual living crowd. So some kind of computer assisted tools, it's kind of already been there, but the latest AI tools, I'm pretty sure they are enhancing that or helping that.
From my limited understanding of video editing post-production workflows, it seems that AI is being integrated strongly into tools like the Adobe suite, mainly Adobe Premiere, to help editors, to help producers, video producers, simplify, streamline the workflow, and automate a lot of things that used to take time and also require experience. Do you think that this is a positive development for the industry? Does it take away from the skills that people need to cultivate or in the past had to cultivate in order to do this kind of job?
Many tools can be double-edged swords for creators or even the bigger, say, production team to have the risk that when you simplify certain things, that you might also lose the experience you learn from doing those fundamental or repetitive works. For example, I think in the last couple of years, the most obvious development is probably nobody is doing transcribing by themselves anymore, because the AI tools can help you to do the transcribing so fast and so quickly. And transcribing was never a pleasant thing for people to do, or especially that's mostly an entry assistant level job. But on the other hand, we are running at the risk of that eliminating assistant level jobs for them to be in the future to gradually climb out the ladder or learn experience from that. But I think in general that what you described is true, that the new tools allow the people to accelerate the process, to cut to the finished work quicker. But at the same time, that does leads to the possibility of the leaving out the nuances to the programming, and then therefore never learn that kind of process. If you go to something like Hollywood films, then there will be directors that still want to cut on steam bags, and it's obviously not the fastest way to work. But some of the artists could argue that using the old-fashioned way of work allow them to feel connected with the material more, rather than trying to accelerate the process out of things that we thought things should be done there. Because in the past, without AI or without certain tools to accelerate your workflow, you might have to do something that's inconvenient but necessary in order to put things into places. But with AI, because people design AI as a way to eliminate the things that we think that's repetitive, we think that's a daunting, but during that process, that maybe some of the craft and art in the past was learned from those inconvenient nuances when they lost as well.
What do you think is the biggest negative impact that the AI boom has had on visual media?
So I think it could come from two directions. I think the first, we touched that a little bit, is that by using AI tools, eliminating certain kind of assistant level or repetitive work, then we might also allowing the employer to think, then why don't I just eliminate those jobs as well? The second layer of that is, it seems like a lot of things being put on hold based on what I heard. It's because the big decision makers, say big studios, seems to want to hold investments on making more, say, movies or series because they felt, oh, the AI technology could be very so advanced in half year. And how about I just wait, and then maybe in half years I can use AI to create certain things that I have to pay X amount of money. And then if I waited for half year, maybe I only have to pay half of it. That's the indirect things I kind of heard of, the people talking about, like the big studio want to hold investments on current productions because they feel like the AI is coming or the AI is evolving so fast, then why don't I just wait for a bit and then see if I can utilize new tools and then save more money. Whether that's going to happen, if the new AI tools, say half year or 1 year from now, really going to save them money, or you know what, the consequence of that kind of mentality will actually just directly impact the production right now, because the people who are potentially in the past regularly relying on this money to make the livings are gonna have difficulties.
What's your best case scenario for the visual media industry here in Taiwan, sort of living together with AI? Because it doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. Do you think that people here, artists here, creators here, will be able to find some kind of equilibrium, will be able to find a way to coexist and to use that technology while mitigating some of the major negative impacts?
Sad facts, even before the AI, is Taiwan is a place where the, say, visual media industry is not as big or globalized as, say, Hollywood. That means there are no so many high budget productions in Taiwan to start with. It's a lower ground, so if the flood is coming up, then it will hit the lower ground first, then the high peaks. And then this means in Taiwan, I think quite some level of the visual media industry are going to be impacted harder than, say, in the US. That's how I imagine. But on the other hand, that there's another potential saving grace for Taiwan is, like, maybe not so many big companies in Taiwan learn how to utilize these new tools yet. I think the combination of AI and then social media involvement is actually going to change the foundation of how to make money for visual media industry. So there's some part of it is just the AI tools, but some part of it is like the underlying economic structures of that is also being changed. I think for the individual creators, since there will be some hard times in the recent time. It's like now and then maybe small period of time in the future until there's a new balance coming up. The quality of AI generated content is already good enough for cost sensitive clients to decide to use AI instead of go to production company or a post-production company. It's not because it's better, it's because it's cheaper. But unfortunately, I think in an environment like Taiwan, there are many clients are very cost sensitive. So that will create a hard time for many people in visual media industry in Taiwan, I think.
Thank you very much for your time, William Chen, videographer, filmmaker, and video producer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's all I have for you in this week's edition of Taiwan Tech Update. Thank you for staying with me, and if you have any ideas or opinions on the show, its format, topics, or just technology in general, you can email them to me at Tomasz, that's TOMASZ, @rti.org.tw. Please include Taiwan Tech Update or TTU in the subject line. I'm your host, Tomasz Koper, and I'll be back with another update next week.